Thanks for coming back. It's Eric Bakker, the Naturopath. I got a question here on my YouTube channel I'm going to respond to, and it's from a lady called Kelly. And let's have a look at the question. I did an MRT, mediator release test, food sensitivity test, and it tells me I have a dairy issue. Can I have a small amount of butter or whole cream in my coffee, like 1 tablespoon? So dairy is an interesting food. For many, many years, I've always been interested in taking people off dairy products long before they spoke about A1 and A2. So A1 and A2 are two different sort of genetic variations of a protein called beta-casein found in cow's milk. And they vary genetically. So you've got two different cows involved here. I think the Friesians, or the cows from the northern Europe, the black and white ones I saw a lot when I grew up in Holland, they produce a high amount of A1 milk, whereas the other cows produce A2 milk, like the Jersey cows and the ones from the Channel Islands and France, and the Charleroi, and those sort of big fat cows with all that flab and stuff. They produce the A2 more. So, and these two beta-casein proteins in milk differ because of just one tiny little deviation on the protein chain. I think it's on the 67th part of the protein chain. The A1 from memory is histidine, and the A2 is proline. So people tend to be much more sensitive to A1 milk than they do A2 milk. So in New Zealand, they brought out A2 milk years ago. So these are proteins found in cow's milk. But then my argument is, hang on, if you're going to have to start playing around and take proteins and stuff out of milk, why are you even having this stuff in the first place? Just get rid of it. Like, I can tolerate the New Zealand milk to a degree, but when I went to Australia and I had just the tiniest amount of milk in a cup of tea or in my cereal, my sinus blew up something crazy over there. So you've got to be very careful with dairy products, especially if you're sensitive to dairy like I am, and no doubt like that Kelly is. So, but the question is, can I have butter or whole cream in my coffee? Well, butter is predominantly fat. So butter doesn't usually contain beta-casein in it. There could be trace amounts in there. So depending on how high this sensitivity test came back, I would say you're probably safe to have butter. Butter doesn't, I've never really seen a food allergy report coming back with somebody being sensitive to butter. I mean, it may exist. I mean, I've seen some patients sensitive to lettuce and tomatoes, so you can be sensitive to anything. But butter generally is fine. Butter is fat. And when we've got the liquid milk, we're going to contain the beta-casein and, of course, also the lactose, which is the sugar in milk. So some people have got no problem with the beta-casein, but they get diarrhea from lactose because they don't have lactase, or the enzyme to break lactose down. Whereas other people have got no problem at all. They've got lactase, but they can't handle the protein in milk. So you can see milk's a problematic food, cow's milk, for a lot of people. Now, goat's milk doesn't have these kind of issues. So I know some people have goat's milk in their coffee and tea, and they really like it. So it's definitely worth trying goat's milk out for sure. So you're not going to have the beta-casein issues. Cream, I'd be careful of cream, Kelly. I would probably keep away from cream, to be honest, because it's just concentrated fat, but it's got a higher amount of beta-casein in it from what I know. So I would probably go more for the butter from grass-fed cows. And even better still, if it can come from a cow that's not Friesian cow, or that contains the A1 predominant, beta-casein protein. So I hope that answers your question about, dairy and allergies. So my opinion on dairy with cow's milk is most people are better off having very small amounts or limited amounts of this. I find yogurt to be a bit different because it tends to be, the lactose gets consumed, really by the bacteria. It will still have the beta-casein in it, but I know you can also get yogurt made from predominantly A2 milk. But these days I'm leaning more away from yogurt, and I'm going more for foods like sauerkraut anyway. So I hope that answers your question in a long roundabout way. Thanks for the question.